Yeah.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out. And the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he very explosive. He's very explosive, and you know, man, he be cracking them dudes. Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Just cracking people.
Don't thump it on me, though.
I'm not kidding. Challenge.
Where would you get this from, man?
Ain't no jumping out.
Joe Ryan's reaction upon witnessing Gervonta destroy Davis's newly bulked up body before the Jake Paul battle. You could practically hear Rogan's distinctive tone come on, half in a state of scientific breakdown, half in awe.
I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think that guy's so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and it's like patience.
Yes.
Yeah. He finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like, when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence.
Joe didn't waste time sugarcoating it on his podcast. He remarked, "Dude looks like he's been forged in a powerlifting lab," after watching Tank's most recent training videos. He's also not incorrect. Tank has bulging shoulders, imprisoned, sitting erect like a bull poised to charge, and his build was significantly thicker than Ryan Garcia's. Rogan began to analyze it like only he could, discussing how Tank's explosiveness might be altered by the additional mass, and how his hip torque and punch velocity might actually increase rather than decrease.
It's interesting, right? Like, you don't know whether someone's ever going to be able to figure that out, or whether or not he's just going to keep cracking people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the fun of watching it. I've talked to a lot of like real boxing purists. It's like, you can't rely on that style.
Right.
He's got to be busier. When he gets to the best guys, it's not going to work out. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, because there's so many good guys.
The real juice, however, came when Joe said that Tank is created to explode, not merely box, and likened him to a little Mike Tyson using contemporary training science. He also made a lighthearted remark about Jake Paul, adding, "Jake is crazy if he believes this version of Tank is coming in for a points win. That guy is coming to put an early end to it." Rogan clearly respects the grind. He enjoys watching a fighter develop. Additionally, this iteration of Javon Davis appears to be evolution on steroids. Not exactly, but in the manner in which a combatant changes who he is to make a point. Joe put it succinctly. This isn't the second Tank Davis. Tank Davis has let go with this.
You know, he got the skills, the power, he got the ring IQ to do good, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, he's also wild. He's a wild fella, so he's fun to watch. You know, he's just a crazy dude. You know?
Yeah, coming from Baltimore, man, I think that's just his upbringing as well. You know, product of his own environment.
Yes, for sure. He's just so unique in his approach. Like, you know, he doesn't fight like anybody else.
Okay, so after Joe Rogan gushed about Tank's increased bulk and essentially called him a miniature Mike Tyson on steroids, we switched to Wade Plummon's breakdown, and the action becomes even more intense. It's evident that these guys are creating a blueprint rather than merely showing off for the camera. Calvin Ford is in the corner, analyzing Jake Paul's every oddity and every that might hurt me moment like a crazy scientist with a clipboard. This isn't a friendly sparring match. Tank is doing this by honing his saw, calculating angles, and locking his thoughts into a place where supremacy is the only possible consequence.
The least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
It's surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
They've been going back and forth for years,
Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life.
And listen, I'm not only referring to cardiac punishment when I say that Tank is constantly attacking the body, making every move feel like trudging molasses. I'm referring about slicing Jake down like a Thanksgiving turkey. This is where things start to get brutal. After watching this video, you understand that Tank is more than just bigger, stronger, and faster. He is more intelligent. Allowing Tank to hurl outrageous bombs is not Ford's coaching philosophy. It's a game of chess. Well, how can I make a 60-pound giant pay for every inch of reach he believes he has?
A guy that's targeting the body, and it's the best thing that Tank could do for this fight. I mean, trying to go headshot for headshot with Jake Paul when Jake's 7 inches taller than he is. I'm assuming he's going to have a bit of a reach, even though Tank has a kind of freakish reach for his height. I don't think that's a great idea. And again, you're at eye level with Jake's belly button damn near. So you're going to have to be able to land shots right there on the waistline. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight, if you actually want a game plan, because again, it's an exhibition, but if you want a game plan to get him out of there, you have to attack.
Now I can see it. Jake's hands dropping, Tank's volume punches ripping off the body, and all of a sudden we're talking about opportunity knocking and late round exhaustion. Tank landing clean like this will not only slow Jake down, it will completely change the course of the fight, as you and I both know. The most amusing aspect is that everyone is discussing the exhibition circus. However, based on these clips, Tank is approaching it as though it were a world title defense. Because fear is simply another tool to sharpen when Calvin Ford is on your side. Hold on tight, because Tank is planning a coup, not just showcasing himself for Netflix. You can be sure that he is prepared to reveal all of Jake's weaknesses.
Ridiculously hard for Tank to actually knock Jake out. That's like 70-pound difference, 60-pound difference. That means something. And Jake's not some guy that's never thrown punches. He's a relative novice when it comes to, skill level that Tank has, but still, he knows how to protect himself. And again, his body structure allows for some mistakes to happen that he wouldn't have to pay for like he would if he was 135 pounds. Point being, I would be impressed, if Tank knocked him out cold or dropped him with something, hurt him.
And just when we thought Calvin Ford's candor was unreal, Lamont Roach Sr. abruptly criticizes Gervonta Davis's business decisions in a boardroom. The man didn't even deliver a blow. He tossed contracts. In essence, he said that Tank went to Netflix and missed a rematch, saying, "Forget honor. I'm trying to find algorithms. Furthermore, I'm not even able to lie." It seems like boxing took a detour to become a YouTube thumbnail in this Jake Paul match. Consider conveying this to a fan of the old school. Yes, sir. Tank Davis is battling the man who used to pull practical jokes on folks at Target.
It's not good. It's not good for the sport. A lot of people say, oh, money this and money that, but you got to do business the right way. You know what I'm saying? You got guys on that other side, especially fighters, that take time out of their life, train, get their coaches and sparring partners. They go different places, travel. They invest a lot of times in their career. And it's a lot. So, when they get back, they get news like that, it does not receive well. So, but we solid. We're going to stand 10 toes down, man, and we're going to see what's next for us.
This is where it becomes humorous, though. Roach stated it clearly. You can't simply shut down your business and start over to make more money. Bro, tell that to half of Hollywood and every influencer with a boxing license. I'm saying as I sit there. He does have a point, though. It would be equivalent to abandoning the NBA Finals to play a celebrity 3v3 if Tank had truly abandoned that rematch in favor of Jake Paul. Yes, you will win, but your legacy will give you a serious side eye. Don't get me wrong, Jake Paul is a skilled puncher. Tank, meanwhile, is constructed like a gloved pocket nuke. This isn't the production of material. This will ruin your career. Jake will quickly discover that Tank doesn't collaborate if he enters believing this to be just another influencer show. He has repercussions.
Tank is just so much more better than Jake Paul. And some people feel, well, Jake Paul is this big heavyweight that punches hard, and Tank's going to find out, do you feel like this is going to be an actual real fight just underneath the term exhibition? And do you see the fight playing out when someone gets hurt?
I don't even want to talk on that fight, me honest. I can care less about what it is. It's an exhibition, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. He ducked that work.
Yeah.
He ducked that work.
And shortly after his father, Lamont Roach, lost it over skipping business ethics 101, his son, Lamont Roach Jr., stepped in and blew things up like a man who had just finished being courteous. He said exactly what everyone had been muttering. Tank swerved into the Jake Paul circle like it was Coachella, not just avoiding the rematch. The best part is that Rode called it just that, laughs. Like, dude, picture spending your entire life training for a world title only to have the person who defeated you enter an influencer fight with glove size as the major news. Roach's irritation is evident. Instead of Tank chasing clicks on Netflix, one dude wants to smoke in the ring.
Gonna get that rematch fight versus Gervonta after this fight?
Who knows? He said he's retiring. Honestly, I think he's scared. So if he's going to retire, I believe he's going to retire.
You think you'll retire after the exhibition match?
I think so.
Why do you say that?
Because he's scared.
Listen, I understand. Like a slot machine in Vegas, dollar signs are dancing around the Jake Paul battles. However, Legacy is not available on TikTok. The merchandise sold out, so if Tank is indeed leaving after Jake, it would be like a superhero retiring in the middle of a series. Think about Tank's constructed like a human rocket and Jake Paul's 200 pounds of content creation. That fight will either be the largest marketing masterclass since Logan boxed a weather app, or it will be the shortest main event ever. In any case, it seems like boxing turned from an HBO drama to a YouTube reality show all of a sudden. However, we will all continue to watch because you know that something nasty, viral, and extremely costly is going to happen when Tank Davis and Jake Paul enter the room.
Jake Paul and Gervonta fight. The weight, the ounces on the gloves, 12 ounce, and then, Calvin was asking to get the 10s. What do you think about that? And people who don't understand that.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about their fight per se. Like, I really don't care. I don't care about their.
Man, this is the crazy part. This altercation seems to be a social experiment masquerading as a major event. Gervonta Davis, a man who was practically raised in the boxing trenches of Baltimore, will face off against Jake Paul, the internet's golden kid of mayhem. Influencer culture and true warrior mentality are at odds. The art form versus the algorithm. The absurd thing is that both parties are currently in need of one another. Jake is looking for legitimacy. Tank want a legacy beyond the typical boxing sphere. It resembles the collision of two universes to determine who bends first. Here's my hot take, though. Tank's clean cracking of Jake is more than just a knockout. It's a reset of culture. Boxing takes back the internet from the influencers on that day. However, if Jake manages to live, he even pushes Tank into the later stages. We may be witnessing the beginning of the most despised triumph in the history of combat sports, my friend. This isn't just a fight in any case. It's a contest to see who can take center stage next.
Jake Paul is good enough where people say, oh, he's terrible. Jake Paul is not a world-class fighter. I don't care how a person feel about that. Fighters that started in their formative years, like we did, 8, 9, 10, we got too much time in. Jake will never catch up to that. He'll never catch up to that. We just got too much time in.
There it is. Both are gambling with everything that defines them, while one is pursuing greatness and the other is for affirmation. There will be more than just a brawl when those gloves come into contact. Boxing will discover whether authenticity still outperforms algorithms at that point. Because either Jake is going to pull off the biggest plot twist since McGregor-Mayweather, or Tank is going to remind the world what true power looks like. However, what are your thoughts? Will Tank drop Jake more quickly than Wi-Fi in a hotel lobby? Or is Jake actually made to withstand the smoke in Baltimore? Leave your comments below. Discuss, defend, and debate it. I'd like to hear everything. Additionally, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters, the place for unfiltered content, wild takes, and genuine conversation. I'll see you at the following one.